It's How I Make Money with Andy Beadle. Welcome back, everybody. My guest this week is Josh Pather. He is the president, owner of Photo Booth International, and really more to the point, I know you've already had a lot of success as an entrepreneur, and you coach people, you do digital agency work, or rather you've got people who do that. So there's a lot more on your plate than just that business. But we're really, really happy to have you on board today. From a fellow Allergy Bowl here in Southwest Virginia to the Allergy Bowl that is Dallas, Texas. Greetings to you from the East Coast. And Josh, take a little bit now and just tell people about what you're doing day to day and the clients that you're serving right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. It's a great pleasure to be here. So I currently am involved with Photo Booth International. So we started this business about 8 years ago. I actually started in the rental industry where I would actually rent out photo booths to different events.
Wow.
So during that time, yeah, that's kind of how it started. And I was able to grow that business to be able to leave my full-time job. So I left my job in 2013 and been on my own since then. So we started as a rental business. About 3 years after that, people started asking us like, hey, where can they buy a photo booth from? You know, they're like, hey, I want to, start this in my own city, or they would see us at different events. So then Photo Booth International was launched in 2015.
Oh, cool.
And, yeah, so we specialize in helping people start a photo booth rental business. That's, it's been a passion of mine. Like I started from, the bottom, they would say, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I'm really passionate about it. I needed mentorship and someone to show me the way. And so I want to be that mentor to people, who are starting off or who are unhappy at their job. I think a lot of people, they start a career or they do something and then they're not happy, and, they don't have time and freedom to travel or do whatever they want.
Right.
And so, that's how I was, whenever I left my job, I was, just not happy. I was working at a call center. And so, yeah, Photo Booth International has started. We've been empowering entrepreneurs. We've helped over 3,000 people. We were just named Inc. 500, number 63 fastest growing company in Texas, number 1239 in the nation. And so, yeah, we're excited. We're changing a lot of lives. And, the pandemic was a little bit tough on everybody, but,
Sure.
The Texas people, Texas stayed open, and the Texas customers are doing really well. And
Right.
We know there's just going to be a huge demand, this year and the following years after that, because, all the millions of events that didn't happen, are still bound to happen. They got postponed. So that's primarily what I'm involved in.
Right.
I spend most of my time on that. And then I do have a small SEO agency because I do love marketing and SEO. And,
Right.
I really understand it well. And it doesn't take much to get, just implement a few things to businesses. You guys do marketing, right? It's the same thing. You see, like the website, needs to increase the speed, and let's set up some call to actions. Let's cut down the pages and get some backlinks going. And so yeah, help people with that, and do some real estate and some stocks, and ADD just kicks in whenever.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
And before we were taping, Josh and I were talking. I was like, yeah, every entrepreneur I know, myself included, just suffers from somewhere on the attention deficit spectrum where you just kind of go, I can't just do one thing, and you end up in all these projects. I kind of want to go back to the photo booth idea because there's some stuff about that I really love. I think it's so important. Like if you drive down the street, everything you drive past that got made by human hands was sold to somebody, built by somebody, created jobs, and was somebody's business. And you go to something like an event, and you've got the photo booth, and I love those photos. I've got tons of them from events I've been at, friends, people I haven't seen in years. Like, oh man, I call them up, and you go, wow, that's a viable business. It's a business with a process. You can master it, you can market it, you can make money, and it has ups and downs like everything else. And I think people don't understand that. I mean, literally opportunity is everywhere, right? If for example, the real estate market's really huge. People get into real estate. Like, hey man, if you're not into real estate, People make money owning vending machines. People make money renting photo booths, right? People do, that those are all viable businesses, that anybody is left standing at the end of this lunacy called 2020 and 2021. I mean, you got to have guts, right, to stay in business in that world. And I think you're right. When this is all over, we're going to have several years of everybody basically just partying like it's 1999, and photo booth business is going to pop off. So tell me a little bit, how did you go from being in a call center and doing this as a side gig? Like, what was it? You're driving down the road one day, you're like, photo booths, that's it, right? I mean, what happened to get you into that game?
Yeah, so I'll just start kind of a little bit about my story. So my family and I moved here in 2001. We moved here with 2 suitcases each. We immigrated from South Africa. And so, we came here for a better life, just the American dream, right? So from the young age, I was dealing with transition, and I knew I wanted to be successful because it was such a traumatic experience. Like, leave your family, leave your friends, and leave a whole, understand a whole new society, come here, adjust and adapt to it. And so, made me resilient, if you will, and have a stronger need or will to succeed. Right. And so, I tried several things over the years. One of my first businesses, I used to mow lawns. I mowed lawns, $20. Every kid's job, right? Summertime.
Oh yeah.
Mowing lawns. But you just get out there and push the mower, and it's hard work. And in Texas, you got the sun beating on you. I just remember it was a different kind of heat. Like, South Africa heat is it's on the ocean, right? And then you come in Texas, and it's like, I've never experienced this kind of, it's so different. I'm like choking outside. But I adjusted. And so we did that. And then, that only got me so far. Then after that, I started selling fake Nike shoes. This is another big thing in my story.
Started I love it.
Importing, okay. Yeah. So fake Nike shoes. I was doing this in high school. So I would go on Alibaba. I was technically drop shipping. This was back in 2008. I didn't know it at the time. But yeah, I would import these shoes, take them to school, show the people at school. They would place an order with me. I would collect a $20 deposit. Then I would go back and order the shoes from China, which the shoe cost was $20. So I'd have my cost taken care of.
Right.
Then I would come back. Once I get the order in, I would sell the shoes for about $100. So I'd be making $80 per sale. And then I come home from school one day, open the mailbox. It's Nike Corporation versus Josh Pather. And so wow. I'm in a trademark infringing lawsuit. So I'm just shattered. I don't know what to do at that point. Right. I'm 18 at that point. And so they ended up settling the case for about $5,000. But initially, the shock, they shock you with that.
Oh yeah.
Front. It's $50,000, and I'm like, oh my God. So that kind of threw me for a loop. So I kind of I stopped. I just stopped doing that. And I'm never going to do this again. Now, mind you, if I sold anything else, if I sold silicone spatulas or salt shakers for the kitchen, I would be an Amazon guru right now, or eBay, I'd be all, it could have been anything else. So hopefully that's a lesson for people, you get one thing wrong in the beginning, you go down the wrong path.
Right.
And, so it kind of gets.
Well, you never forget your first cease and desist letter. It's a big deal. So was part of your settlement, you're no longer allowed to wear shoes as well? Was that it? $5,000, you could never wear shoes again. So anyway, so what? Yeah. So sorry, what happened? Yeah. So Nike comes and slaps you with the lawyers. You flip out. You're 18, and then what happens?
Yeah. So then I just kind of stopped it. Then at that point, I was working at the bank. I was working at Bank of America. I was a teller, making $10 an hour, and so there was another teller there, and he was a DJ, and so he would be like, "Hey, come help me on the weekends, be my roadie," right? And so I started going with him on the weekends, make some extra cash, and the next thing you know, we started getting a little bit more busier. So now I had to start doing my own events, with him. So during that time, I ended up leaving the bank, and I got a job at the call center. This was about 2010. So I worked in the call center from 2010 to 2013. And I was DJing on the side during this time. So I always had a side hustle because I knew I can't work forever. I don't know about
Right.
how you feel about that, but I'm just like,
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta find something. So the DJing was going well. Then I got a call one day, a friend, and he said, "Hey, I saw a photo booth, and I think we should do that." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine. Let's give it a shot." Uh, and so I went. We got some money together. We went to Home Depot and we built a photo booth for $500. Just like MDF wood, black paint. We put it on a tripod stand. We had an inkjet printer, just one you pick up at Walmart, and a
Right.
screen. We had like an extra computer screen and a keyboard, and we downloaded the software, from online. So we started posting ads on Craigslist, and then like we started getting bookings, and it was like, oh wow, this is actually working really good, and it's a lot easier than DJing.
Right. Yeah.
So when I was doing the importing the Nike shoes, I was actually during that time I had a website, and I actually learned how to build websites and do marketing. And so when we started the photo booth business, I were able to build a nice website, better than most of the other competition at the time.
Right.
And we were able to rank it really fast in Google. So like I named the company Photo Booth Dallas because that exact search term got 500 searches a month.
Right.
So I named it that. So I got the exact match domain, and we built a really nice website. WordPress. I was pretty knowledgeable on WordPress then. Got some backlinks, and before you know it, within 6 months we were like number one spot for Photo Booth Dallas, Photo Booth Rental Dallas,
Wow.
Dallas Photo Booth Rental, and so we started getting a lot of gigs. Corporate clients, Facebook. We did one for Dos Equis. We met the most
Most
interesting man
interesting
in the
man in the
world.
world. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We met him. One of the Dallas locations sold 1 million cases of Dos Equis, and so they booked us for that event.
Oh wow.
So yeah, times were good. Times were rolling. And then during this time, like I said, I was working at the call center, and so this is Experian, the credit bureau, one of the big credit bureaus. So
Right.
like if you had, you probably protect my ID. You sign up for a credit report, and then they start billing you every month, and then you would call to
Right.
cancel. Like I was the guy you would speak
You
to.
were the guy. You were the
So
guy. Oh, I
mhm,
love it.
yeah. So luckily, I was in a department that had full internet access. So in between calls, I'm posting ads on Craigslist. I'm like logging into different accounts. I don't know if
Right.
if you ever had to be in the front lines and do that. Like Craigslist like caught on, so you'd have to like use IP address and use a different email address and change up the copy and the text inside the ad and the
Right.
pictures. So there's no like footprint, right? So we were
Right.
doing that, and I was like, I was. A lot of people have this like I want to keep a safety of a job, right? But then also have the side hustle, and then they're like,
Sure.
we got the 401k and the benefits, and I had the employee stock purchase plan, and I'm like, man, Experian's a large company. I'm gonna be safe, and I can still do my side hustle, and my job was manageable at the time. A lot of people put up with their job because
Right.
it's an easy job, right? We all say
Sure.
that. So
Yeah.
then one day they walk in and they're like, hey, we're moving this department to Costa Rica. Now, obviously, like I'm like, oh god, this kind of changes everything now,
Right.
because
Yeah.
like we're just kind of ramping up with the photo booth business. We're not at the point yet to kind of take a full-time salary, and
Sure.
so I was like, hey, this is like basically a sign, right? Like if there was ever a time for me to be an entrepreneur or to give it a shot, it would be now. So I
Right.
ended up taking the severance package from Experian. They gave us like 3 months worth of pay. And the last day I worked, I think, was like July 2013. So left that, and then I went full time doing the photo booth rental. We were able to grow that. So between like 2013, 2014, 2015,
Right.
we had a lot of corporate events. We were working every weekend. It was
Sure.
tough. It was tough because like 7 days, during the week we were like booking events, and then on the
Then you just
weekend, we're
slammed every
working.
weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm So yeah, 2015, we ended up doing over 800 events in one year, and it was like it was too much. So that's when I learned
Wow.
about scaling. That's how I learned about
Right.
scaling problems. I'm like, man,
Oh,
this is not
sorry. Yeah.
scalable at all. So
Oh
I was like,
man.
okay. So 2015, that's when Photo Booth International was born, because when we named the company Photo Booth Dallas, but we couldn't get events in other cities because it was named Dallas. So I was
Photo
like,
booth,
okay,
that
what's the
right.
big, yeah, what's the biggest thing we can do? It's like, all right, Photo Booth International. We'll go all over the world, you know. So yeah, that was born, and so about 2017, I ended up selling the rental business so that I could focus on growing Photo Booth International. So we made an
Gotcha.
exit on that, and yeah, I've been working on Photo Booth International now full time, and then also mentoring people on the side, business owners who are just getting started or want to transition from their job or
Sure.
start a side hustle. I think pandemic has taught us one thing, that you can't depend on one source of income,
Yeah,
and so
that's the truth.
having a photo booth, you can do one or two, three events a month. Just
Hmm.
maybe one Saturday dedicate to that, make $500 an event. That could pay the mortgage, or the
Yeah.
rent, or take care of a car payment or something like that, and you still have the flexibility to create your own schedule.
Right.
So when we tell people, like, you don't have to jump in and do this full time. Start off as a side hustle, work it on the weekends, get
Hmm.
your feet wet, and it can, if you want it to be a six-figure business, you can get there for
Yeah.
sure. The demand
Right.
is there. But if you want to just do it on the side and have some vacation money or play money or whatever you need the money for, hey, you can do that too.
Yeah. Well, and I think you covered a lot of stuff that is really important. I think we've got the idea of the American dream, whatever that means for a lot of different people. And when we talk about, I think it's easy to see people and say, oh, that kind of immigrant mindset of I've got to hustle, I've got to kind of build a new life. And I think in a way, if you're willing to pick up your life and move across the world for an opportunity, I mean, you're already an entrepreneur. You've just decided what business you're going to go into, right? I mean, you've said, okay, I'm leaving this set of circuit, I'm going to go take another set. So, that's a huge mindset. I mean, to have that mindset is a gift, right? To know, hey, work is hard. It's a grind. I got to make choices. I'm going to be out here in the sun mowing lawns. I'm going to be doing all this. And whether it's a side hustle or first time, having that mindset, I think, is one of the key ingredients for success. And I know a lot of people, I started this business. I've said this before. I started this business as a side hustle, and people are like, wait, you're kidding. It's like, yeah, I've been doing this for 23 years. I was a university professor before I started doing this. And let me tell you, talk about a terrible job. And I think that, listening to that, it's so true that you get real comfortable in that job, right? And it's like, you know where to sit every day. Like, people tell you what to do, which is kind of cool. You get a paycheck. It's hard to break away. It's hard to walk away and then have to learn those lessons that a business learns. Like, how do I scale? How do I turn this into something that's full time? And let's talk about that, because, yeah, when you're doing 800 gigs in a year, like, how did you scale that? I mean, that's non-trivial, man. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was too much. I don't recommend it for anyone.
Right.
We had so much business coming in because we were, in the number one spot, and
Right.
we had the Google ads dialed in, and um, you don't want to say no to business. When
Right.
people call like, hey, we got $1,000 event.
Right.
Oh my God, I've been working for 7 days, but okay, let's do it.
Yep.
Give me the credit card.
Sure.
So you get stuck in that, and but you got to. I think it gave me the, like, or the grit, the grind. Like, it's a good foundation to start off, because I can go back and tell, look, I've worked thousands of events myself. I was there. I
Right.
set up. I was at the Omni Hotel in loading dock B, and I had to get the cart and roll it up to the ballroom C, and go make 5 trips so that I can get all the equipment, and everybody's busy, and then a printer is going out at another event and they're calling me, and
Right.
someone didn't show up on time. I did it, and it made me who I am today. And I, a lot of people, they think we accidentally had success, but you got to put in the work. The work
Right.
is the common denominator for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when you moved over to helping people start the business, what's your kind of program for that? When people get in touch with you and you're kind of guiding them through it, how do you get them started? What are the components of that whole system?
Yeah. so what we do is we sell the hardware to them. So if you come to Photo Booth International, you can buy a photo booth from us. It starts off at 3,000. They go as high as 10,000, depending on the type of
Gotcha.
package. With
Right.
that, we provide you a website, business contracts, training, business training, and in a community, you get lifetime tech support. So you get all the support you need. So think of it like a franchise, but not there's no ongoing fees or charges for it. And we're actually the only ones who offer this kind of particular package with so much support, and that's what people want. And I share a lot about my story because I've made a ton of mistakes. I've
Sure.
pricing, hiring the wrong people, buying the wrong equipment, and so we share a lot of that, on our YouTube channel, in our training, and so we really give people the best opportunity. We give them the tools, they go build their empire. I did
Hmm.
it. I had no advantage, over anybody, and they can do it as well. I made $1 million. My first million was renting photo booths.
Right.
It's crazy to think about. When you tell people, oh, it's just a photo booth business, but hey, when someone calls you and they need, photo booth and a red carpet and oh, they need a DJ, okay, that call, could come out to $1,500, $2,000, for one event.
Right.
You do that a couple times a month, it could, really add up. But you got to be
Yeah.
willing to put in the work.
Yeah. Well, and all of that, and I think again, it's the interplay between you can work really hard, and I mean you can work really hard and not make any money.
Mhm.
That I think happens all too often, and by the same token, it's very challenging to make a lot of money without working hard. So taking technique and really learning from people's mistakes, right? I think,
Mhm.
and again, I've said this many times on the podcast before, I don't know a single entrepreneur or business owner who is not generous with their time and knowledge. I think because we all realize, maybe somebody in our past helped us out or taught us something, or a
Mhm.
resource was made available, or we've just made so many utterly painful mistakes that we can't bear to see somebody else go do something that dumb. And so
Right.
like, no, please don't. Here's what I did. It was terrible. And I think that idea, hey, you're going to make mistakes. And that's good, right? That's how you learn. You're getting reps at bat, man. You gotta keep swinging. If you're going to be the home run king, you got to be the strikeout king too. So that's how the
Mhm.
game is played. I think that is just super important. The idea, I think, if you sit down and say to somebody, "I made $1 million renting photo booths," I think there's a whole class of people that are going to go, "Wait, you what?" There's another group of people who are going to go, "Damn it, why didn't I think of that? That's amazing," right? So there's a lot there to unpack in terms of understanding, where opportunities are in business. And maybe to come back, since you're so piped into the event space, as we come into 2021 and we see the vaccine being more widespread and all that stuff for the pandemic and things open up again, where do you see, obviously the photo booth thing, but as events open up again, where do you see opportunities for people to start businesses and make an impact in their own lives and their own ability to kind of be free of a job?
Yeah, at home services is going to be the biggest thing, right?
Oh,
So,
interesting.
like, yeah, that's what like window cleaning. I paid a guy to come wash my car the other day. That was $80. He has a little trailer. He doesn't have a website. He just posts on Instagram.
Right.
Now the good thing that he does is he takes a video off the car before he washes it, while he washes it, and then after he washes it. So he shows his work, right?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Lawn care, dry cleaning, house cleaning. I think at home services. My barber comes to me now. I don't have to go to the barber shop. So I think at home services are going to be big. I think there's going to be a shortage for that. I like to start, with service. If you're an entrepreneur just getting started, you don't know what to do. Service business is the easiest one to get started,
Right.
and then, then move into, whatever else. But I think a lot of people they look online, right? And I mean, all day getting pinged with ads, right? Oh,
Right.
you know, start an Amazon business, start an eBay business, and this guy's the Lamborghini, and this guy's on the beach, and he's in
Right.
Bali, and all day long, and people get confused with all that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And nobody wants to mow a lawn. You
Yeah.
know, if you have a job and you have the weekends off, you should be doing something extra on the side and then building it, because there is hours, to build a business, but it's people just want to sit in front of their computer and make money, and it's not always that easy, and even after so many years of, I'm doing it, you're doing it, it's still hard for us. We still got to keep up, right? What's the new thing?
Right.
Oh, there's a Facebook update. Okay, the ads are not as not producing enough revenue as they once were. We got to change
Right.
the copy and new platforms, and oh, now we got to do advertising on TikTok. Now we got to learn a whole new platform. So.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah, service business is there. At home service is going to be big. Window cleaning, lawn care, car wash business. Like, it took me a while to find someone to come wash my car. And this guy was really professional. That whole business could maybe take $3,000 to start, and an Instagram account.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that's easy. People want it. And actually, he was here. I paid him $80 while he was doing my car. My neighbor walked over to him and was like, "Hey, I want you to do my car."
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he packed up and he scooted one house to the left and he washed his car, and that's, I mean, that's a solid day. If he made $160 working, maybe 3 hours, it took him to do that.
Right.
That's not bad, from a perspective of, when you're just getting started. Photo booth
Well,
industry. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, and then if you look at something even as simple, and I tell people this all the time, being successful as an entrepreneur, being successful as a business owner, making the kind of money that will give you some more freedom and latitude in your life to do what you want, to take care of your family in the way you want, or give back or whatever, that is not complicated. Doing that is not complicated. It's very, very simple. But it is hard. I mean, it is hard work. It is not easy. It is simple, but it's not easy. And you look at just that car washing business, that's one of those things. You create demand. You could have 3 employees in that business within 4 months where, hey, you don't have to book the gig. You don't have to do, all you got to do is show up at the house. I'll pay you $40 to wash this guy's car. Right? I mean, that's a heck of a job for a week. I mean, even so all of these simple things are very scalable if you think about it from the start, right?
Yeah. A lot of people do the comparing, they compare someone's chapter 13 to their chapter 1.
Right.
That's always a big thing. And, I wrote this in one of the quote I go by, information is no longer the problem. Execution is the problem now. It's a lack of execution. We have podcasts, we have YouTube, we have everything. It bugs me when people say, I don't know. Someone told me the other day, I don't know how to use Zoom. I almost lost it. I almost lost it. Yeah.
How can you not know how to Zoom? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and we see that too. People have ideas and they think the value comes in the idea. It's like, nah, man, ideas are they're easy. The ideas are easy to have. It's executing, and that's the hard part. And that's where you get a lot more out of learning to execute and start a business than simply the revenue, right? You've got confidence. Confidence is so important. You understand that your future is on you. By and large, obviously huge social forces can, you get a pandemic comes and your future gets a little weird for a while, but you've got the ability and the resilience to manage those things and to really take control of your own life in that regard. There is another thing that you have accomplished and done that I don't know that our audience will really be aware of. So I'll talk a little bit about it. In our world, in our marketing world, there is a whole group of software services people and professionals who help folks build what we loosely call funnels, where you are getting traffic for a product and bringing people through to a purchase. There is a very well-known software and company and firm called ClickFunnels out there that does a lot of business with entrepreneurs who have an online presence. And of the ClickFunnels client base, there's a very small elite few who get in the 2 comma club. And Josh, you are one of those, if I recall. Tell the story of how you have made more than $1 million through your ClickFunnels efforts, because I think that's another thing that people need to understand. ClickFunnels gives a ton of, and they're not sponsoring this by any means. I just like the platform. A lot of education, a lot of ability to learn to do what you want to do, a lot of training, but it's up to you to put in the work. And for those people who do, they do really well. And ClickFunnels isn't a business. It helps you market your business. But yeah, so how did you make it to the 2 Comma Club? Because that's an accomplishment. I mean, that means a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because like the first time I signed up for it, I was like, man, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I canceled my account. And then I saw his presentation. He talked at 10X GrowthCon number 2, the second edition. And then ended up investing. You know, I got like the $3,000 package with the training and stuff like that. And so, you know, a lot of people think that they can just sign up for ClickFunnels and make money. Like you said, it's not a business. You know, it's going to help you grow your business. So 2 things you need. You know, you need to already have a business, and then you need to already have traffic. You know, those are the 2 things. Those are the big things that's going to factor. So I already had, whenever I started, I already had a business. So I started off with my rental business. And so, excuse me, you know, we already had traffic from SEO, and we were doing Google ads, right? So there was people coming to my website. Now, what I did, you know, it's hard to build, it's hard to do SEO on a funnel, right? Because, you know, you can't control, you know, the back end of that. So, you know, my rental business website was built in WordPress. And so I took the ClickFunnel and I put it into the WordPress in the form of a get a quote form, get a quote, you know, funnel. And so it's a quote funnel. So we weren't actually selling physical, we weren't actually selling through the funnel. We were collecting leads through the funnel. And so through that, we were able to generate $1 million worth of business to be able to get into the 2 Comma Club. So that was the first. I have 2 awards. The first one was through the rental business, but like I said, we already had the traffic. So let's say if I'm getting 1,000 hits a month, right, on my Google Analytics, and I'm sending them to the WordPress website. Now let's say I'm getting 100 leads from that. Okay, so that's 10% conversion rate. Now I put in ClickFunnels in between that, right? So my conversion rate goes up to maybe 25%. Right now, instead of getting 100 leads, I'm getting 250 leads for that. So that's where that came in, because I already had an operating system. I just needed to extract more out of that system, right? So same thing, you know, we did with the Photo Booth International, with the second 2 Comma Club award. You know, we implemented it in there. We were able to get more, you know, none of my competition's using it. So one of the main, you know, I keep telling everybody, like all these podcasts that, you know, they see me and like, hey, just copy what I'm doing. Like, but at the end of the day, you know, like, you know, what I love about Russell and ClickFunnels has been great to me. You know, they sent a whole crew out. They did a documentary on me. They were here for 3 days. It was awesome.
Neat.
You know,
that's cool. Yeah.
They actually they bought a photo booth from us. They really support us. You know, and that's like one of the only companies that have, you know, treated us so well and nicely. So, you know, we really love them a lot. So they come to the website, right? They go on Google, they're searching, they get hit with the SEO, they get hit with the ads. They come to the website, they get into the funnel, they put in their name, phone number, and email. Then through ClickFunnels, I have a 4 or 5 day email sequence. Okay, that's hitting them up. They get 1 email every other day. So that's dripping on them. And I'm sending them 3 types of emails. I'm sending them an emotional email. Hey, I came here with nothing and now I made $1 million, right? Emotions. I'm tugging on their heartstrings, right? I'm sending them a logic email. Hey, you invest $3,000 and you do 6 events at $500 an event. You're gonna pay off your investment, okay? And then I'm sending them a fear email. Hey, you remember when you missed out on Bitcoin? You're gonna miss out on this opportunity as well? Okay, question mark. Right. So the fear of missing out. Okay, so I do that. So that's my secret sauce right there. So they come to the funnel, they get the email sequence.
Pay attention, photo booth people nationwide. This is what you want to do. So.
You can do this in any business. Any business.
Yeah.
I just happen to, you know, I mean, any business you can do that for. But yeah, so that's the sequence. And, you know, once they go on the thank you page, you know, we have a little upsell or course or webinar. You know, we're testing out doing a webinar for them because we get a ton of leads. I just ran a report right before our call. We got 67 leads in 1 week. So we are choking on
That's
leads
great.
right now.
Yeah, that's the place
You
to
know,
be, though. That's great. Yeah. Well, and let me back
hmm
up and talk about the fear thing. I when we talk to clients about marketing their products and services, at some point in that relationship, they'll have a conversation with one of us, and what they'll hear is people will buy for one of three reasons generally, and it's fear, greed, and the desire for exclusivity, and those sound really negative, but take, for example, in your own story, you're working in a call center, you've got the successful side gig, you're not really ready to make the jump, and
hmm
they do it for you because they say, well, you can either not have this job or you can become a Costa Rican citizen, right? So, they take that ability to jump you out of where you had found yourself stuck, and they provide the impetus to kind of get over your own inertia, right? So, I think in a lot of ways when we talk about using fear as a motivator, it's not so much to make people scared. It's more to say, hey, it's hard to develop the inertia to stop doing what you're doing and start doing something else. Let me help you do that by saying, hey, well, don't miss out on an opportunity. If you need help to act, think about all the times in your life where you might have acted before, and this would be a good time now. So I don't see there being anything wrong in that at all. I tell you, this is such a great story. There are two questions that we ask everybody who comes on the podcast, vitally important. Everything's been leading up to this. You got started in business at a young age when you were busy counterfeiting Nike's goods and mowing lawns. If somebody came to you, met you at a party or an event or whatever and said, hey, man, I'm thinking about going into whatever business it is, I'm starting out, what one piece of advice would you give a new young entrepreneur who's just starting on their own side gig or their own business for the first time? What's the one thing you would tell them to do, regardless of what industry or vertical they were in?
Yeah. So my thing I tell everybody is the success factor, and this I see this with anybody I talk to, family, friends, business owners. They get an idea and they add time to it. Okay, they think
Okay.
about it, they consider it, they plan, they analyze. They talk to their husband, they talk to their wife. All right. Success for me is how fast can you execute on that idea from when you got it. Okay.
Right.
If I got an idea, I'm executing right away. I don't add any time to it. And people get frustrated with me. It's too fast. There's too many things going on, and like my wife, she's like, oh, we got so many, we're moving and you're starting a new project. And, my team, oh, I was like, hey, I need stuff done yesterday.
Right.
That would be my thing, because if it fails, I know quickly it failed and I'm not spending any time. So I'm not the type to plan. Now I do plan, certain things, but if I have an idea like for a new product or a website or a blog or something like that, like I execute right away. So I think the execution, because like I said before, the problem is the execution now. This people are
Right.
wasting time. People tell me they don't have time. I tell them, send me a screenshot of your phone time on your phone. How many hours are you spending on social media? That's the first thing. And
Oh,
you should
wow.
see
I
the
love that.
reaction. Oh my God. Like you start
Yeah.
choking up,
Right.
like don't tell me you don't have time. We all have the same amount of time.
Right.
It's how much you're doing with it, and what are you doing? Like I spend 10 hours a day, on revenue generating activities. We just hired a personal assistant today. She just left right now to take my car to the car wash.
Right.
My barber is coming to me. My car, she's cleaning my house. Like I
Right.
spend a lot of time. I'm very mindful with my time. And
Sure.
so I think that if an entrepreneur getting started, get started. There's
Yeah.
nothing to waste. You can go on YouTube. You can start a car wash business tonight.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
go on Instagram and just get a handle and post pictures and go offer to wash 3 free cars for free and take your pictures and show your work, and then post it on social media, go into different groups. People need the service. People are at home, and it's there.
Yeah, and we talk to people about this too, and we've got a course for people starting a side hustle, turn it into a business. And one of the first things we concentrate on with people is you've got to have what we call your minimum viable product. And what is the slimmest down, easiest, quickest to market thing you can do right now to go make money? Because there's a lot of things. One, like you pointed out, people add time. And a lot of times, at least in my experience, they add that time because they're afraid.
Exactly.
They want to have a lot of reasons why, and then that keeps them from having to make a decision and having to keep them from kind of encountering that whole success failure moment. And number two, when you get started in a business, you think you know a bunch of stuff about your market and what you do, but you're going to find out you don't know anything. And the faster you can get feedback from people who, nothing says I like it like people giving you money. Right. So you could ask everybody in the world, hey, do you think I should wash cars this way? Is this a good idea? Versus go out and wash some damn cars and see if they pay you. The sooner you are asking for money and being told yes or no, the better off you're going to be. And I think there's a third piece. I guess Elon Musk was on Clubhouse last night, and somebody asked him what words of encouragement he would give entrepreneurs. And he said, if you need words of encouragement, you should not be an entrepreneur. Right. So it's we all have this inner battle. And I think you're right. Just go and do it. You'll figure it out. Figure out the minimum thing you need to do to go make it happen. And start making it happen and getting feedback from your audience right then and there to get better at what you do, serve them better, figure out what you can do. What are you going to charge? How's your service going to work? Like this guy, I love I took a picture of it before, during, and after. So I've done marketing work for me, and I've demonstrated to you the quality of my product and service, right? I mean, that's, it's simple, but man, it's genius, right? So I think doing that, that's a huge.
So many people miss that.
Yeah. So I love that. Have an idea and then you add time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, have an idea. Yeah, so someone texted me the other day. He worked for me just for a little bit. He's a young kid, and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a clothing business. What advice or steps would I take?" I said, "Look, go and go make a Shopify and install the print on demand app and sell." I said, don't worry about setting up an LLC. Don't set up a bank account, nothing like that. So go make money first. After you've made 5,000, 10,000, then go do all of that stuff, because that'll weed out 80% of the people. So that's why, take action first and do that. And that's what's worked for me. It may not work for everybody. Like my wife is the opposite of me, and she has to, follow the steps and plan and that kind of stuff. But that's why, we make, good couple, because we kind of complement each other. But, at the end of the day, if the money's not in the bank account, nothing matters,
Right. Yep.
And go ahead.
I was going to say there are no successful businesses that don't have a positive bank balance. I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, if you can't pay your mortgage, you might as well not be doing what you're doing. So,
a lot of people try to figure everything out. They try to, like my sales reps, like somebody will call me and they're like, oh, they're in Kuwait and they want to know what the shipping price is. I was like, have they purchased yet? I was like, just make the sale first and then we'll worry about the shipping. We'll get a quote on the shipping first. They're trying to contact me and interrupt my day and get a quote for this. Tell the person, hey, when you buy, we'll figure out the shipping and we'll do that. And so, not trying to figure out every single step, just know what the next step is. And go. If you're just starting business, you don't need to know maybe about your balance sheet or how to apply for loans and stuff like that. That comes in due time. But learn how to sell first. You need to learn how to sell, how to operate a camera. Is your social media set up? Are you on Instagram? Still, people are not even on YouTube. I mean, YouTube's one of my biggest conversion channels. People come and buy from me like, Josh, I've been watching you on YouTube for 3 years. Here's my credit card.
Right.
$10,000.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, I think you're so right. And it's so easy to get tied up in kind of all that prep work that really doesn't do anything for you. And I like that idea. And I think I'm absolutely going to steal it shamelessly and just say, hey, idea plus time, the amount of time between the idea and you executing lowers the value of that idea by the minute, right? Because you're not out doing it. And the other piece is I say this, I don't think people believe me. I am absolutely the dumbest guy I see every day. I know how many mistakes I've made. I know how many I'm probably going to make today, ones that surprise me, things I thought I knew. So the faster I'm out making those mistakes and learning from them, the better off everything is. So you've got to not be afraid of those many failures, so to speak, right?
Right.
And that speaks exactly to what you're saying. I love that. That's a terrific answer. And we've had a lot of good advice from people, but that's one that I think is definitely definitely something to take to heart. You have to act. You have to act fast. Second question.
Yeah, and that's a muscle. I just want to add to that. That's a muscle you have to grow. And every time you don't act fast, you're actually strengthening that other muscle. And so I've just exercised that muscle longer than other people have. It's not that I was born this way. I have fears. I have doubts. You know what I mean? But I've exercised my willingness, my execution so much that it's strong. And so most people think that they're incapable of doing that, which they're not. They just haven't exercised the muscle, and they've exercised the wrong muscle, to do that. So
I love that. That's true. I think that's powerful. Yeah, because you're always exercising a muscle, whatever you're doing. If you're not getting the results you want, you're doing the wrong exercises. So it's, hey, here's what you need to do. I love that. All right, next big question for all the marbles. Who wants to be a millionaire? Here you go. If you could have a meal with one living public figure, no matter who it was, who would that be, and what would your meal be?
Yeah, I was looking at that question and I didn't come up with it. So living public figure. Yeah, I guess probably Elon Musk. Yeah, it's just so next level stuff. It's like, hey, we're gonna go to the sky and take over the satellites. Because I was looking at it, I was like, man, this guy launched a spaceship the other day. I'm like, what does it take? Like, I'm having trouble. So I just purchased a piece of real estate. And 2 days ago, I had to go to the city council meeting and tell them I want to build a 5,000 square foot building on the back of my lot. And I had to walk in there, and there was 8 people sitting at the table from the fire department and the planning and the civil and the engineer and all that stuff, right? And it's very intimidating to do that kind of stuff. And they're like all loaded with ammo and they're ready to shoot your ideas down. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that, but like it's pretty extreme, And now I'm thinking like Elon had to go to like some government entity and tell them, hey, I'm gonna launch a spaceship into space, and I have Tesla and I have all these other companies, and it's like the process of doing all of this, like how is that? I can't even quantify how they can do that and get the permission from the FAA to launch this thing into space and make it all communicate, manage all these people and building the gigafactories. So yeah, I would say it would be him. What would I eat?
Yeah, what would you eat? Yeah, what's the meal?
Tacos. I think with tacos and keep it casual. He's a casual guy.
Tacos. Keep it casual with tacos. There you go. Well, isn't he's moving to Texas, right? Is he moving to Austin, or is he going to, where he's moving?
Yeah.
He's going to Austin.
Somewhere outside Austin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that market is popping off.
There.
And the Elon Musk thing, he is such a galvanizing figure in so many ways, but I don't know of anybody. I mean, even Steve Jobs, at the height of his creativity, I don't know, had the same breadth of just belief in his ideas that Elon Musk does. I think Elon Musk kind of has a good idea or has one introduced to him, and he likes playing for huge stakes, right? It's like, I want to go to Mars because I think the future of humanity depends on it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here wondering if I think buying organic chicken is a good idea, right? It's sort of like he's thinking at a level that I can't even aspire to. Solar power. We should totally have roofs made out of solar power because that would be good for humanity. And I just, his ability to do that and think about it. And I had never thought about his work in the way that you presented, where, I know exactly what you're talking. You go to like zoning and planning and try to get them to, give a variance for something. And you think, what does it take to get the FAA to tell you can fly a spaceship? And then
that you made that's untested,
And it's all robots, I mean, and like, how many meetings do you have to stand in front of and kind of have your stuff ready? And I'm sure he's got an army of people who do that. But even so, I mean, that's a lot of again, it's confidence, right? Just having the confidence to go and try it out. And if it doesn't work the first time, you keep coming back, and eventually the FAA goes, God, fuck it, man, launch your spaceship, just get out of my office. Right. So.
And I think they're probably at that point, they
Exactly.
probably, because at the end of the day, like what's the blueprint on that? Like, it's never been done before. So
Yeah.
what do you go back to the textbook and, okay, section 4A, you can only allow, like, you can't. They got to make an assumption that this guy's going to do what he said he's going to do, and it's going to be safe, and it's not going to, cause like some kind of asteroid shower. So,
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like,
I love it. I have never thought about it that way before. I think that's exactly right. Yeah, that takes a lot. That takes a lot to do. Well, hey, I do want to respect your time. I know you've got a lot going on, and we'll hang out and chat for a bit, but we'll wrap up the episode again. Again, this is Josh Pather. You can find him at joshpather.com, JoshPather.com, and at Photo International. Is it photointernational.com or photoboothinterntional.com?
Yeah, photobooth.int.
Photoboothint.com. You can go check out that business. I know that Josh is real active on social media. You've got all sorts of stuff out there that's definitely worth taking a look at. And again, I really thank you for being on the show. I love your perspective.
Thank you.
And the ideas that you've brought forth. And so, yeah, absolutely. I kind of feel like we're going to have you back again once the party scene advances and find out how many photo booths you've put all over the world once the pandemic is over. But thanks a lot, man. This has been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, another great episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find contact information about our guest in the show notes for this episode. This has been the How I Make Money podcast by Brand Distillers. To learn more, visit branddistillers.com.